to Schoolcraft Library's Cooking with Tom. Today we're going to make scones. I don't think I've done scones yet, so let's do scones. We're going to make blueberry scones, some fresh picked blueberries. I picked them right up at Meijer. I hate picking blueberries. It's the most tedious fruit you can pick. Sherry loves it. Sherry's weird. Okay, for scones, you want the food processor, quick, easy. You know I love this thing. Take your dry ingredients. Your dry ingredients are 2 cups of flour, 1/2 cup sugar, 2 tablespoons of buttermilk. I use dry buttermilk because it's stable in the refrigerator for like months. Then you want to use 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 cup sugar.
You said that already.
Okay.
The recipe will be at the end.
The recipe will be at the end.
We're
So
somewhere
always
in the
there
middle.
just to help me out. Put that in your food processor, give it a little whip, done. You want 1 stick of butter. This is not a low-fat scone. This is a scone that you see in the delicatessen and think, the bakery, probably the bakery say, I want that scone.
And it's cold butter.
It's cold butter. The recipe originally called for it to be grated frozen butter, but that just was not going to happen in my kitchen. So use cold butter, put it into 8 chunks, close the lid back up again, and you want to mix your butter in there. Basically, you're cutting your butter in, but with the food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you just put your butter in there and use a couple of forks or a pastry blender and make it into a nice fine meal.
Wait, we should get a picture of that.
Okay. Now you've got 1/2 cup of yogurt, Greek yogurt, 1/2 cup of milk. Put it in a container, whisk it up nice. You also have a lemon. You want to grate your lemon first before you cut it in half. It's so much easier. I just use a grater. Sherry has a fancy zester that will take layers off your fingers if you're not careful. It will, oh my God. I use things that weren't that sharp enough in the body shop.
It's German knife wear.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's good stuff. But it'll take the knuckles off in just a heartbeat. Then we're back to, gotta keep the reds and the whites separated when you're baking. Okay, you have the zest from 1 lemon. Cut your lemon in half. Way to get it without having to put it through a strainer, just strain it into your clean hands, and it'll keep the seeds from going into the
Watch out for any paper cuts that you may have.
Yeah, this will really highlight the paper cuts. That way you can keep the seeds from going through. And you have lemon juice. Okay. Whisk that together. Lemony fresh. Somewhere it probably says that's a good facial cleanser or something.
Yogurt and lemon.
Low yogurt and lemon. Exfoliate and moisture at the same time. Put your liquid mixture into your food processor, put the top on, and you turn it on until it becomes a solid, kind of like a mass, like a ball. Should almost like roll around the side. Once it's become mixed, you don't want to overmix. If you overmix your dough, it'll become very tough. It doesn't make for a great scone. You get a cutting board. Flour it because this is really kind of doughy still. Sticky.
Sticky situation.
Put the flour out here. Take your scraper, scrape your dough out onto your flour surface.
Oven's preheated.
Oven's ready. Remember to preheat your oven.
Forward.
Okay, you've got your dough on your floured surface. Roll it around so it gets flour coated so it doesn't stick to your hands. Okay, this is actually what I call a pie scone. So, if your dough's a little bit sticky, perfect. Okay, you want to roll it into a little ball. You want to grab your killing knife. Okay.
Michael Myers knife.
Like mine. You want to take a knife, cut it in half. Okay? It is a little gooey. It's okay though.
You could flour your knife first, right? No?
You could. If you cared. Okay, what you want to do, take half that, set it off to the side on the tablecloth. Okay. So what you're doing here is basically, you're making the bottom crust to a pie. Take your dough, put it on your stone. Big chunks of butter in there. Flour that again. Let flour go.
Put it away.
Not like me at all. Put more flour on top of your half here. Do this with hand or with a rolling pin, doesn't really matter. That's that big chunk of butter right there. Okay, you've got your other half here. See if we can find some more chunks of butter in here. Yeah, we can. Man, we need a rolling pin for this one here. It's pretty
Soft.
soft dough here. Could use a little more flour in there. This is going to be challenging. Like a good challenge. Okay.
We'll just edit that.
We're going to show them how to fix this problem. Sometimes it'll be a little bit too loose for your top, so just put a little more flour down here. And just knead your dough, a little more flour into your dough to make it a little bit stiffer. So your top crust has got to be a little bit stiffer. Your bottom crust, you can get away with it. Your top one, it's got to be a little bit stiffer. Just gently work in a little more flour. You can do this if you're making bread, it comes out a little bit doughy. Just add a little more flour to it and knead it in there. Just a little bit better. So, more flour down here. Have you ever made bread in a bread machine and you go to pull it out and you find that it hasn't risen at all? Because you forgot to put your yeast in the bread machine. Don't worry. You put it in then, do the whole thing all over again. It doesn't mind. Not that I've ever done that before. Okay, there is your top crust. Okay, you take your blueberries. Ooh. Funny thing about brown fruit, it rolls. Okay, you have your blueberries covering your lower crust here. Take this, fold it in half, put up there, put over top of it there, covers it nicely, go through and tuck in the edges. But you have them like this. What I'll often do is just go ahead and cut them now. And if the bottom isn't too sticky, this is, okay. Just cut them up, I usually cut them into eighths. If your bottom's not too doughy like this one is, you can pull them apart. If you separate them out by maybe about a ½ inch, they really flow out nicely and they look really, really cool. But this one is too moist, so we're gonna put it in just like it is. And when you're at this point, you can either brush another tablespoon of butter on it and sprinkle it with turbinado sugar, which is just really coarse sugar, and bake it. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a maple glaze on top of it when it comes out of the oven. for 20 to 25 minutes. Check it at 20. You want it to be nice and brown. Okay, depending on your oven. This one I'm guessing will probably take about 25 minutes. Okay, scone is done. We put a maple glaze on top of them. Let's see how they taste. Probably tasty. I recommend these at home any day. Have a nice day.